Have you ever built an API only to find it returning empty JSON objects? It's frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into why your ASP.NET Core API might be returning empty responses and how to fix it. I totally get how annoying it is when you put in all that effort to create an API and it just doesn't work as expected. You're not alone in this. Many developers face this issue, especially when starting out. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, "Why does my ASP.NET Core API return empty JSON objects?" They mentioned that no matter what object they put in, they always get an empty response. Sound familiar? Let's dig into this together and find a solution. So what could be causing this? In ASP.NET Core, if your properties are private, they won't be serialized into JSON. This is a common oversight that can lead to empty responses. Let's break it down step by step. And don't go anywhere. I've got a crucial tip at the end that will help you avoid this issue in the future. To resolve the issue of receiving empty JSON objects, the user should first check the access modifiers of the properties in the car class. Currently, they are private, which prevents them from being serialized into JSON. Next, the user should ensure that the constructor of the car class is not the only way to set the properties. Since the properties are now public, they can be set directly when creating an instance. After making these changes, the user should test the API endpoint again. They can do this by sending a GET request to the endpoint, which should now return the expected JSON object. Finally, if the user continues to experience issues, they should check the JSON serialization settings in the startup configuration. Ensuring that the default JSON serializer is set correctly can help avoid serialization problems. Did you know? The first web APIs were so basic that they only returned plain text. We've come a long way since then, but sometimes we still run into these simple issues. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution from another user suggests that the issue may be due to the use of private fields in your car class. They explain that JSON serialization requires public properties instead. Changing your fields to properties could resolve the problem of receiving empty JSON objects. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests adding a specific configuration to your API. They recommend using the command services.addControllersWithViews. Add Newtonsoft JSON in your startup configuration. This addition should resolve the issue of receiving empty JSON objects. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution suggests redefining your car class. Instead of using private properties, make the properties public. This change allows the JSON serializer to access the properties and return the correct JSON output. Here's the crucial tip I promised. Always ensure your properties are public and accessible for serialization. This simple habit can save you a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. Your ASP.NET Core API should be returning the correct JSON objects now. Remember, keeping your properties public is key. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our bonus tip on API best practices.